a defense that seemingly is playing at a very high level, and they're getting it done at all three phases right now.
Well, I think they're winning up front, guys. I think it starts with the 4 down linemen that Oregon has. And at the beginning of the year, Amari Washington was just killing it, right? And then there was a lot of double teams. So then you have to have another D tackle take over. And Bear Alexander has been playing lights out the last 3 games. I mean, he is unblockable right now. So when you have 2 inside guys controlling the inside, and then they got their edge rushers, Mateo and Tatum, that front 4, they're all coming back next year. But I don't think so. They might go pro. But they're all juniors. They should be coming back. If they all came back next year, wow. But right now, they are playing lights out.
And I think that Bear Alexander in his story arc is an incredible one, because he was always the guy that, whether it's at Georgia or USC, it was, well, if you can keep Bear engaged, he can be a special player, and he is a special player. That dude has been engaged the entire season here at Oregon. And where we're starting to see the success on the field come is the level of comfort he has playing around the guys and the person next to him. Amari Washington, as you said, I mean, he popped off the screen right out the gate in the first couple of games. Bear has been outstanding, but so have the guys that come in the waves behind them, right? Yeah. Whether it's Tion Gray or Terrence Green, those guys that, it's a cycle of players through, and they have been outstanding. And I'm glad you touched on those guys, because we asked the linebackers to do a lot for Oregon last week. In the week leading up to the game, it was everybody in the media was saying the linebackers have got to play a great game. Well, the linebackers were afforded the ability to have great games because of what was happening in front of them, which was taking on double teams, allowing alleyways for them to fill, and it was a one-on-one, and they didn't have to shed a big block. Now, Tatum Tuioti is the most undervalued and underappreciated player in college football.
Thank you.
I don't, whether it's offense or defense, because there are people who pride themselves as college football pundits on the national stage, that I was listening to a podcast, and they didn't even know who he was.
Yeah.
They said, who's that? And that 44 guy was pretty good. What's his name? And they went for about 30 seconds before somebody finally Googled it. And they were like, Tutoti. And it was like, no, Tatum Tuioti, and he's been this way all season long. Yeah. He has been outstanding for Oregon.
I thought those guys did such a tremendous job setting the edge. There's been some questions this year about Mateo, and hey, the numbers aren't great. Part of that is, I think, too, they haven't played a lot of teams who are just going to come out and sling it 45 times, right? I mean, you go, Wisconsin barely threw the football. Iowa's not throwing the ball a ton. You can just go up and down the list of teams that they play. There's a handful of them that just the passing attack isn't prolific. But those guys, and especially in a game like that, and you can talk about this, Anthony, from a defensive standpoint from Tatum and Mateo, just how important it is. I thought they did a great job of setting the edge the entire game. Yep. And then to Dusty's point, allowing some of those linebackers to fly around and make plays.
Well, let's talk about Tatum for a minute. Go back to my high school, well, not my high school days, but go back to when Tatum was in high school, and we played against him at Sheldon, and he gave Sam Levitt, our quarterback, nightmares because he was always in the backfield. And Sam
Levitt's pretty good.
He's pretty good quarterback.
Yeah, Sam Levitt. Yeah, he's a good one too. We lost to them at the beginning of the season and beat them in the state final. But talking about Tatum, this guy, he plays like Junior Seau. His motor is 100% all the time. He is always running to the football. I don't care if it's right in front of him or 40 yards down the field. You see number 44 flying to the football. And Andy, you've heard this relentless pursuit, RP, where you have to get to the football, guys. And he does that with the whole Oregon defense. They run to the ball. But this 44 is ridiculous. And then I just talked to some scouts, a couple of friends of mine. They love the way he plays. They can't wait to get their hands on number 44 in the next level.
He's a coach's kid, too. How cool is that to be able to play for your dad at the college level? And all the Tuioti brothers, it's a phenomenal story for the entire family. It's not just him, of how much success they've had playing college football. And P.J. Fleck, right to point out how well they're playing together. Last note on this, and then we'll start diving into the matchup. We talk about this all the time in football. Like, I don't know how long Oregon can survive being as shorthanded as they are, and we'll pass along any information we know, which isn't a lot, but there was a report earlier about some wide receivers who might not be in action tonight. But we always highlight this is a sport where guys are going to get banged up. It's we talked about that last week, Anthony, on the pregame show of like next man up mentality. It's why Lanning's playing 70 guys in some of these games. They want to make sure guys are ready to go and can step in and play. That was the other part of it that kind of really stood out to me, and I'll get your thoughts on it, Anthony, of just having that mentality and guys that came up with big plays when they needed to. That, hey, if you got to do that in a college football playoff without some key guys, I don't know how long you go. But on any given Saturday, they got the depth now to be able to overcome some of those injuries.
Well, yeah, and Dusty, we talk about this all the time. It's all about recruiting. Getting these guys that are 5-star, 4-star players all on your team. You not just getting one guy, one a 4-star, one 5-star. Maybe you get 6 or 7 of them. And then now that receiver group is much bigger, much better. And when you have guys that go down, because this is a collision sport, injuries are going to happen. Next man up. And he can still play at that high level. And that's what we're seeing with Oregon's receivers. I mean, they're banged up. I mean, really banged up. And so it's Malik Benson. He has to step up. Even the young Cooper Perry has to step up. All the guys in that group, they need to step up and still play at that high level, because otherwise they're going to get left behind. They might not see the field. So they need to. They know. Okay, when I'm under the spotlight, I got to show off.
And that was great to see too in that depth at receiver. The game plan has to change and it adapts when those injuries happen. We saw a ton of 13 personnel, 1 back and 3 tight ends too, where there were formations where Zach Grace was in and he was playing a fullback H position. Roger Saliapaga was in at tight end. Jamari Johnson was in at tight end. And to have that variety to sit there and say we can come at you at 13 personnel even without Kenyon Sadiq in the ball game, or we can spread you out and put Cooper Perry on the outside, put Malik Benson out there, and feel comfortable enough with that. In game, there was an adjustment though when Gary Bryant Jr. went down.
Yeah,
you think of how much your game plan shifts when DeCorian Moore gets hurt in the week leading up to the game, and then you go, okay, what we had on Sunday and Monday, we tear that up. We're gonna throw away about half of the playbook then, and then in the first half of the game, the first quarter, you go, okay, well, Gary Bryant Jr.'s out now. We're going to go ahead and tear up that third of the playbook. And so Will Stein called an incredible game.
He did.
With one hand tied behind his back.
He did an unbelievable job, man. A guy who has gotten a lot of flack from Duck fans at times this year. The different run calls, the variations they had in the run game, the versatility, the different backs, just a phenomenal job by Will Stein to get that job done. Let's start breaking down this game, because Minnesota's bringing a team at 6-3 to town. Some of the things that we're noticing on them, we'll start diving into the matchup between the Ducks and the Golden Gophers. That's coming up next. We're live down at Autzen Stadium, having a great time. Kickoff at 6. We're on the air for another hour and a half. Stop by, say what's up. If you're on your drive down, it is dry, Duck fans. We've done it. It is a dry Duck. Well, knock on wood. You never know. So for right now, it's dry. Don't jinx anything, Dusty. All right?
I'm not going, dude. I'm the last person to be jinxing anything on that.
Anthony, don't be jinxing anything. All right.
Not
don't
me.
say anything.
Hey, I did see there was a group of about 8, and there actually was. It wasn't about. It was 8 exactly Minnesota fans walking by, and they were older gentlemen. And then I snuffed him out right away. Saw a guy with a brand new Bandon hat on. It was like, I know what
he
you
knows
did.
what he's doing, man.
You were like, we need to get 8. We need 2 foursomes.
Yep.
We're going to go to Bandon.
Get there early in the week, midweek rounds.
And then we're going to go to watch the Gophers and the Ducks.
A couple hours up the coast. There you go,
I
baby.
see what you did.
Ducks and Gophers. Let's start diving into the matchup. The breakdown is next. But first, here's Russ with Ducks Game Day traffic and weather every 10 minutes.
Drive time from the city center down to Autzen creeping up this Friday afternoon. We're now a little over 2 hours and 20 minutes. Some slowing from Tualatin through Wilsonville, again on the south side of Salem. Got a report of it smoky in that Salem slog, and again as you approach Coburg. 59 and cloudy here in Portland. Looks like some rain showers will start around 6 o'clock here, continue mostly into the morning. And look for an overnight low of 50 in Eugene at 64, partly cloudy. Should be 56 and partly cloudy for the 6 o'clock kick. Virtually no chance of rain and almost no wind. I'm Jeff Rust with Ducks Game Day traffic and weather every 10 minutes.
The matchups, players, and position groups that will impact the game. It's time for The Breakdown. Brought to you by Victor Rico's Mexican Food. When you think of flavor, think of Victor Rico's.
Fade right out to the left. Was it caught? It was! Touchdown! Evan Stewart.
Coors Light presents Ducks Game Day on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1, 1080, and the Odyssey app.
All right, welcome back in live down at Autzen Stadium. Oregon, Minnesota coming up 6 o'clock. Should be a fun one. The Gophers 6-3 on the year. We talked about Oregon's defense and how well they're playing. I think the first thing that stood out to me in kind of looking at this game, first off, Minnesota undefeated at home. They're winless on the road. So they're 6-0 at home, 0-3 on the road. And a couple of the, when you look at talent comparisons of teams that Minnesota has played on the road that are similar to Oregon, Minnesota's bringing a freshman quarterback to town. Drake Lindsey is his name. 10 touchdowns, 6 picks. He's not had a bad year. He's a 6'5", 230, big body kid, can move around a little bit. But he went on the road to Ohio State, and his numbers were 15 of 26 for 94 yards, no touchdowns, no picks. And then a couple of weeks ago, they played at Iowa, and he had a really rough day at Iowa. 16 of 28, 109 yards, and 3 interceptions. And that Gopher defense just kind of ate him up. So, Anthony, you're the defensive mind here. You're taking on a freshman quarterback that has struggled in hostile environments. What's kind of the thought process going through your head as you're dialing up a game plan to take on a young 18-year-old kid?
Well, yeah, I'm a little happy about this one because they got a young freshman at quarterback. They have a young running back as a freshman. And they have an offensive line that's not the best. They're solid, but you could take advantage of them. I'm coming after this football team. I'm sitting in the house. And, Oregon likes to play man. They want to play man coverage. They have the corners to play man. They have the safeties to come down and play man. Do you know Oregon's defense can stop the run? But I'm coming after this young quarterback. I'm gonna make him see ghost. I'm gonna show one coverage and do another coverage, just like what we're gonna do against Jesuit tonight. No, never mind. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. No. But anyway, so I'm sitting in the house, guys. It's called All Out. That's everybody's going. Why not? Let's get after this guy. Let's make a statement. Let's let them know what football's all about over here in Autzen Stadium.
Look, when you have a freshman quarterback, you will be able to throw more at him, as Anthony's saying. But the thing about Drake Lindsey is that he can also run when needed. And his numbers on the year are not great running the football, but against Michigan State, he tucked it and he ran one in. Because, as Q said, the offensive line is not fantastic.
No.
He isn't a complete stiff back there, but he's not like a running quarterback. He's not what you saw last week.
No, Ternowski's much more mobile.
Not at all.
But he's a guy that when you flush him out, he can hurt you if needed. I think his home and road splits, just throw the kitchen sink at him. I love the fact that our corners have been able to play press coverage.
Yeah.
When you can play press man, that is a rough day for a young quarterback because all of a sudden the heat's coming.
Yeah, you want the ball out quick, and you can't get it out quick.
You can't do it that way. So that to me is the big one. If you're going to bring that heat, you got to be able to man up and play tight on the perimeter, and that's the best thing I've seen from these corners, which, Anthony, at some point, you don't have to do it now. I do want your thoughts on Iffy's pass interference last week.
No,
that was such good defense. I feel like you use it as teach tape on this is perfect defensive pass coverage. I mean, that was one of the worst calls I've ever seen.
It's the defense is always behind the 8 ball. They're always they're going to lose all the time because officials want pass interference. They're really ready to take the flag and throw it on a guy. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It really is. Let them play.
Yeah.
Let them compete.
They did so many times last week, too. And then to have of all the plays for a flag to come out, to have that one be a flag where the receiver almost gave up on the route. It was such good coverage.
He did.
Yeah.
They both gave up on the route.
It's like, I got him locked up.
If he rides the receiver out of bounds, which use the sideline, it's your friend, right? And so he rides him out of bounds, and the flag didn't come out then.
Nope.
So that wasn't the contact. The official took his hat off and threw it on the ground, which means if the receiver wants to come back in and touch that ball, that is illegal touching.
Yes.
Correct.
Okay. Well, they both give up on it. Then the receiver goes, oh, shoot. Ball's in the air. He goes and makes a play, runs into Iffy, and they throw PI. So that official, what you're telling me is that it would have been a penalty on Iowa.
If he catches the ball, what
had
about penalty?
he touched the ball.
Yeah.
That's right. That's
but
right.
because he didn't, it's a penalty on Oregon?
Make that make sense.
That does not make sense.
Make that make sense. You can't do it, man. That's what happens when you're on the road and only one penalty is called on the home team. Iowa only had one penalty all of last week, and it was the illegal batting on the
kicker.
snap there on the punt.
Punter, yeah.
That was the only one the entire
Which they
game.
have to call.
That's you may just imagine not getting that one called. Let's also bring up too. I mean, in this idea of being able to play press man and pressure guy. I mean, the idea of Brandon Finney and the way he's playing right now, where he wasn't tested a lot through the air, but showing his versatility of throwing his hat in the run game and causing that fumble right around the red zone that ended up being a massive play, man. And they knew their corners had to be physical tacklers. They were again last week, and Finney has gone from like, hey, he's a damn good freshman to, man, he might be a freshman All-American, to the point now where it's like, is this guy a first-team All-American? Like, it's growing into that level of conversation, the way that he's playing. Can't wait to see if he's tested tonight and then obviously in the weeks to come. We got more. Let's go to the other side of the ball coming up next, guys, as we're still continuing the breakdown between Oregon and Minnesota. The breakdown brought to you by Victor Rico's. We'll dive into what Oregon's offense needs to do, because the strength of Minnesota is their defense, and we'll look at some of the numbers and talk about that on the other side. Live down at odds to the Ducks pregame show. Back after this on 105.1 FM, The Fan.
Do you owe 10,000?
The flavor. Think of Victor Rico's.
Justice Low reaches back, grabs that ball, rolls in. Touchdown, Oregon.
Coors Light presents Ducks Game Day on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1, 1080, and the Odyssey app.
All right, welcome back in. Live down at Autzen Stadium. Editor Johnson, Dusty Hara, Anthony Newman hanging out with you all the way until 4 o'clock. Kickoff coming up at 6, Oregon and Minnesota. Second to last home game of the year. A lot of Gopher fans in town, man. They're well represented. I think that's kind of the theme of this year 2 in the Big Ten, this new venues that people get a chance to go to. I know Oregon fans have traveled really well this year, and so far good contingents from all the Big Ten teams in town.
So I talked to a handful of fans in Iowa last week, and it's amazing to see how widespread this fan base is.
Yeah.
So just at Iowa, there were 2 groups of people or 3 groups of people that were sitting in like the front row, and I thought they were all together. They had never met each other before.
Just happened to be sitting in the same section.
4 of them were from Florida. 4 of them were from Missouri. And 4 of them were from Oregon.
Interesting.
And they all had Oregon ties. They'd all moved across the country.
Sure.
But the whole thing was, it's great to be able to get to go see the Ducks a little bit closer.
Yeah.
I love it.
Not flying all the way out to L.A. for a road. I mean, at that point, if you're an East Coast Duck fan, you're just waiting to go to a home game at some point. Now you get a Rutgers game. There's a game in Pennsylvania.
It's crazy.
Game in Iowa. I mean, it's a lot of fun. So a lot of Gopher fans in town. Hopefully they have a good time here tonight other than the final score of the game. And the weather, at least, it looks like will be dry.
That's my go-to is like, hey, hope you guys enjoy your time until 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
And at that point,
I hope you're miserable.
I hope you hate
for 3 hours. I hope you hate it. And then, you say, that was kind of fun. Let's come back again someday, Around the fourth quarter, I hope you enjoy Shout. Stick around for Shout. Stick around for Shout, no matter what the score is. Let's go to the offensive side of the ball, guys. You look at Minnesota's defense, and this is, I mean, statistically speaking, this is the best defense that Oregon is going to face the rest of the year. Total defense, Minnesota is ahead of USC and Washington, who are Oregon's next two opponents. They're 7th in the conference, giving up about 311 yards per game. Their run defense has been solid this year. I did chuckle at seeing Iowa, despite giving up, 260 on the ground. They're still top 4 in the conference in run defense at only 103 yards per game. Minnesota right behind him, 108 yards per game. So the strength of this defense is in the front seven. We did get a report. I know I'm going to get a little out in front of the injury report. I think it was Pete Nakos or Matt Zenitz, one of them, at On3 or 24/7 reporting earlier that it does not look like Gary Bryant or DeCorian Moore will be in the lineup tonight. We're not quite sure about other guys. That's all we got for right now. But just, Dusty, I'll start with, the offensive game plan. This is a stout front seven. It's a team that's kind of built on their defense, and they've been carried by their defense this year. And Oregon's offense, we've seen, at times be a little slow out of the gate, and so they got to get going here early tonight.
Yeah, RTDB, run the damn ball. That's what it comes down to. And look, I think that's where everything as an offensive coordinator, and I don't care who you are except for like maybe Mike Leach, running the ball makes every other play call easier.
Yeah.
And no, actually, Mike Leach would even agree with that because Mike Leach said every play that I called had a run in it. It's just we had numbers in the pass game, right?
Yep.
And the ability to run the football opens everything up for you. And we went into this, we had this conversation early in the year. And do you guys remember this? I think it may have been the Oklahoma State game where everybody was concerned about the receiving corps. And we had on this show a conversation of, if you go back to 2010 when they made a national championship game, this receiving corps would have been better than that.
Yeah, and that team played for a title.
I know.
Right?
Yeah.
But if you can run the ball and have balance, it doesn't matter. They have athletes, to Anthony's point in the last segment of you start stacking recruiting classes, there's a competition, and there's good players, and there's good athletes. But run the ball first, and then you can open things up down the field.
Well, I think on that note, too, Anthony, you mentioned Cooper Perry. I remember reacting to the Montana State game in the opener. It was like, one of the takeaways from that game, other than, hey, that was nice, Oregon didn't eke out a win over an FCS team, was I remember Cooper Perry being in the 2-minute drill at the end of the first half. Of like, this freshman has had this kind of skinny white guy, and then who makes a catch in a 2-minute drill at the end of the game? So, and what are you looking for from the offense tonight, Anthony, and how they can kind of build on that final drive and that momentum they picked up in the win over Iowa?
Well, Dusty, you said something very interesting. Oregon ran 13 personnel, and that's 3 tight ends. So when you have 3 tight ends, it's like having extra linemen in the game. So as a defense, this is very hard to defend. You have to bring bigger guys on the field, okay? You have to bring bigger linebackers, more linemen on the field, take your DBs off the field. But then when you take those 3 tight ends and you spread them out, and now they become receivers, and you have to guard them with a linebacker who can't run, now that's a bigger problem. So 13 personnel, and I'm seeing some teams do this. It's a tough offense to defend because you have to stop the run. If you have all those linemen, I call tight end linemen, if you have all those linemen in the game, they're gonna block somebody, they're gonna double team somebody, they're gonna have an edge. But if they're going out on pass routes and catching the ball because they're too big to cover, you're gonna have a lot of problems. And I think if with all the receivers that are hurt for Oregon, why not use 13 personnel?
Yeah, and it becomes that much more dangerous when number 18's on the field alongside Jamari Johnson and Roger Saleapaga. And this is not to slight Zach Grace in the least, but he is not a receiving threat.
Yeah.
But when you legitimately have Kenyon Sadiq, Roger Saleapaga, Jamari Johnson on the field, I mean, you could go from 13 personnel where you're thinking all 3 tight ends are attached and you got a tight end on either side and a wing to, in all honesty, you could go empty
if you want to,
and stack 2 of them on the outside with a receiver behind them, and you're sitting there going, now we have nobody in the box.
Yeah.
And we have all these linebackers on the field, but none of them are in the box.
Yeah.
And that makes it really difficult for a defense.
Well, and just on this note, too, of running the ball and setting everything else up, we've seen their passing game at times be clunky. And also part of that, we got to be fair, is weather determined, right? I mean, you're playing in a downpour with 30-mile-an-hour winds blowing side to side. It's going to be difficult to throw the football. They learned that on the opening drive last week in Iowa, where they tried to throw it 3 times. They had 3 incompletions, and Lanning was funny after the game of like, yeah, I think we kind of realized at that moment it's going to be a little difficult to throw the ball today. But tonight it will be clearer. But you know what a quarterback's best friend is? A run game.
That's
and
right.
play action pass. And just, okay, here comes that little play action boot. You saw that to Bryant early in the game. Unfortunately, he got hurt on the play. But if you are struggling in the passing game and you are without targets, that just makes your life so much easier when you're trying to throw the football and you're making your life easier for your quarterback.
It is. It makes it that much harder. But also, something we haven't talked about, the physical nature of that game, in it being on a short week coming back, that will take a toll on both lines of scrimmage, especially since Minnesota had a bye last week.
They were sitting at
Yeah,
home
they were
last
sitting
week.
at home. Yes, correct.
That will take it. It does. It's a road game. It was physical. It's emotionally charged. You get drained, and you're on a short week coming back. The other thing to that, though, is that this kind of sounds counterproductive to the point, but it's true. A run game and playing physical out of the gate, it helps you get back into the rhythm of the game.
Are you telling me it's the hair of the dog of a physical football game?
100%.
Run the ball.
Yes, do it. I mean, there's no better way to make it. It's like, how do you get soreness out of your body? You exercise a little bit more, right? Or when you're hungover dirt, you drink a little bit the next morning.
That might
right?
be my favorite analogy that I've ever made on the pregame show. That might be. I might walk off. You guys, hey, it's been great. I'll see you later. We'll see you next week.
We're gonna get this hangover right out the door.
We're getting it out of the gate right away, man. That's how you got to do it. Come out, be physical early. The breakdown brought to you by Victor Rico's. They break down your game day meals with catering and the ease of the Victor Rico's app. When you think of flavor, think of Victor Rico's on all of this. We'll get to our keys of the game. That is coming up next. We're live down in Autzen, but now it's time for Jeff Russ with Ducks Gameday traffic and weather every 10 minutes.
Drive time from the city center down to Eugene creeping up on this Friday afternoon. We're now about 2 hours, 20 minutes. Some slowing from Durham through Wilsonville. And again, on the south side of Salem, we do have a report of a smoky in the midst of that Salem slog. And again, as you approach Coburg, it's 59 and cloudy here in Portland. Looks like some rain showers will start around 6 o'clock and continue mostly into the morning. An overnight low of 50 in Eugene at 63, partly cloudy, should be 56. Partly cloudy for the 6 o'clock kick. Virtually no chance of rain and almost no wind. I'm Jeff Rust with Ducks Game Day traffic and weather every 10 minutes.
Do you have 3XY?
What will drive the Ducks to victory today?
Throws it downfield, and it was intercepted. It was picked. Down the right side, 5-3-2. Did he get there? No, not quite. Dante Manning with the interception.
Brought to you by Wilsonville Toyota. One person, one price. No bull.
All right, welcome back in live down at Odds. Andrew Johnson, Dusty Hare, Anthony Newman hanging out with you. Kickoff Oregon, Minnesota coming up at 6 Friday Night Lights down here at Odson and also on the high school fields around the state as the quarterfinals of the state playoffs are here. Keys to the game, let's just go quickly and around the horn, boys. Anthony, we'll start with you. Just key to the game for Oregon tonight to get a win.
We just talked about it. Offensive linemen.
Yep.
Block. Okay, create holes for some. You got 3 good running backs that can run. Open up the pass and just run it. Just run the ball. Make Minnesota think, why are we here? What are we doing here? Let's just go home. Let's get out of here. And that's what happens. It's going to be, 8 o'clock for them, realistically. By the time the game's over, it's 12 o'clock for them. I mean, because they're on a 2-hour difference?
Yes,
so
sir.
They're not used to this. They're like, nah. And if you're physical and beating them up and you just run it down in the throat, you just keep running the ball every play, they're going to give up. I'm telling you right now. I know. I've been on this type of team, the defense, Minnesota, because we were the Ducks that long time ago. Teams just running through us. After a while, come on, offense, can you score some points?
A little help here.
So that's what's going on with Minnesota right now. The offense is struggling a little bit. The defense, they're good for about a quarter, and then they're exhausted.
Turnovers for me.
Yeah.
It's turnovers. Drake Lindsay has 6 interceptions on the year. He's actually taken care of the ball fairly well over his freshman campaign, his redshirt freshman year. But I'm going to go with turn the ball over. 4 of his 6 interceptions are on the road. He's 9-2 touchdown to interception ratio at home. He is 1-4 on the road. Pick him off, make him pay.
Yeah, I'm going to go to the passing game, and it's more of a key to the game for the rest of the year. I want to see their passing game get going, man. I don't know if you're going to need it to win tonight. To Anthony's point, you could probably run the ball 52 straight times and win this game, 20-7 if you want to, similar to the Wisconsin game. But I also think you're at the point now where you're trying to build that momentum for the rest of the year, and you're going to want to be able to throw the ball down the stretch. And so you're without some wide receivers tonight. I want to see the passing game get going. I want to see 5 have a good game start to finish, settle in early, quick start offensively. They have not scored on their opening drive since the Oregon State game. That's how long it's been since they've scored on an opening drive. So I think get a score early, passing game gets going early. That's my key to the game tonight.
Who's the leading receiver?
Tonight, who's the leading receiver? I'm going to go Jeremiah McClellan.
Oh, J-Mac.
J-Mac,
Let's
baby.
go.
Yeah,
Overcoming the drop on that second-to-last drive.
Yeah.
There's some big catches on the last drive of the game. I think he's having a great year, and I think McClellan is the leading receiver tonight. The keys to the game driven by Wilsonville Toyota, simplifying the buying process, one person, one price. No bull, WilsonvilleToyota.com. Let's take a look around the conference and make fun of the Huskies for what they did last week. Let's do that next. But now it's time for Ducks Game Day traffic and weather every 10 minutes. Here's Jeff Rust.
Drive time from here in Slabtown to Otson, still slowly creeping up. We're now about 2 hours and 25 minutes. Got some slowing from Durham through Wilsonville, again on the south side of Salem. And we do have a report of Smokies just south of Coburg. It's 59 and cloudy here in Portland. Looks like some rain showers will start around 6 o'clock and continue mostly into the morning. Overnight temps will dip down to about 50. In Eugene, it is 63, partly cloudy, should be 56, and partly cloudy for the 6 o'clock kick. Virtually no chance of rain and almost no wind. I'm Jeff Rust with Ducks Game Day traffic and weather every 10 minutes.
Big matchups, big plays. It's time to take a look at the scoreboard around the Big Ten and the rest of college football. Coors Light presents Ducks Game Day on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1, 1080, and the Odyssey app.
All right, you can hear from Dan Lanning coming up in a couple of moments, our Philbrook Law Coach's Corner. And what he had to say, that's right around the corner. Let's get to the Big Ten. And before we look at this weekend's slate, can we all take a quick moment to make fun of a program we like to make fun of? Have you guys ever been involved in a game that you lost that the leading passer of the other team was the kicker? You guys ever played one of those before?
No.
Never happened to you, Anthony?
I didn't know kickers played in the game.
Kickers are out there. They're out there, man. Yeah, you got to keep an eye, head on a swivel. You never know when they're going to throw one on you.
Look,
Okay.
Was it a high school game and the kicker was the starting quarterback too?
No, that's not that. No. This happened in Madison, Wisconsin last weekend as Wisconsin beat Washington. And the leading passer in the game was Sean West, who wears number 91 because he is their kicker. And his 24 passing yards for Wisconsin was their top in the game. There are other quarterbacks in the game. Hunter Simmons, 2 of 3, 16 yards.
Oh.
Carter Smith, 3 of 12 for 8 yards. And Danny O'Neal, who started the game, was 0 of 2 for 0 yards. So that is a combined 6 of 18 for 48 yards. 24 of those came on a fake punt thrown by the kicker, and their kicker was their leading quarterback as they took down the Huskies last week.
Anthony asked that like it was a legitimate question, like Danny O'Neal, like
Danny O'Neal, is he back?
You heard
from
that?
94?
He's hanging around Wisconsin right now? I didn't know that. So quick moment to make fun of the Huskies. That's always fun to do. Where are we at on Iowa and USC for tomorrow, boys? Tomorrow. I'm getting my days mixed up.
Danny O'Neal has beat Washington before, though.
He has, Danny O'Neal has. Danny O'Neal's done it, man. Do we think that Iowa can bounce back from that? It sounds like they're going to get 2 inches of rain during the game tomorrow, so the rain is following Iowa. I think I heard Josh Pate make the joke this week. They're like Pigpen. It's like the bad weather's following them everywhere they go because it's going to pour in L.A. tomorrow night. What do you think about that one, Anthony?
Hey, I'm thinking Iowa on grass. It's a grass field, I still believe.
Yes.
Right? Yes. Yeah. So I'm thinking Iowa. If it's raining, they're going to get a lot of rain. It's going to have a slippery field, run the football, and play tough defense. And that's Iowa's game.
Look, Iowa's secondary is good. They got some dudes back there, man.
They do.
And if you have the equalizer like that, and 2 inches of rain in L.A. is way different than 2 inches of rain in Oregon.
Yes, there's no drainage in that field.
No, the soil is not. It doesn't absorb water like it does here. It's not used to taking in rain year round. That's fun.
Hey,
but. When you have that much rain coming down in such a short amount of time, I don't care where you are, it's hard to play in, especially in the Coliseum.
Yes.
That's an equalizer for Iowa.
Yes,
now,
it is.
USC does run the ball well, and I don't think they get enough credit for how effectively they run the ball. But I believe they run the ball so effectively because of the threat of the pass.
Yeah.
And that there is a difference there. It'll be interesting to see if USC can go toe-to-toe physically with Iowa.
Yeah, and Iowa's been a different team at home and on the road, so we'll see if they can take their physical brand of football, and they're dragging into the deep water in the fourth quarter game into L.A. To your point, Dusty, USC can run the ball better this year, but if you take away the threat of the pass because it's so wet, does that make it easier to stop more one-dimensional and you could load the box a little bit? Just curious game tomorrow, and obviously Oregon fans will keep an eye on it because that's Oregon's next opponent. USC will be in town next weekend. The rest of the slate's not great around the conference. You do have Michigan Northwestern. That's the big nooner tomorrow morning. Michigan technically still alive in the Big Ten title race with Ohio State still on their schedule. Tiebreakers in hand, so keep an eye on that one. Wisconsin, Indiana early in the morning. Penn State, Michigan State. Somebody's got to get a conference win there. They're both 0-6. Somebody's got to win a game. You cannot tie in college football. Maryland, Illinois, Purdue, Washington, and then the nightcap on NBC is UCLA and Ohio State.
I think it's hilarious, though, that everybody went down the road of, like, what's Oregon's best win? Northwestern? And then just the next week it's like, well, Northwestern in Michigan. That's going to be a really good game. It's like, which one is it?
Yeah, we can't have it both ways. Oregon
exactly.
beats Penn State. Now Penn State sucks, but then Indiana gets pushed to the brink, and it's like, man, what a gritty win for Indiana to come back and survive. Wait a minute, what? I thought that one didn't count.
Is Northwestern hot garbage or a tough team? I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know, but that game's at Wrigley.
It's at Wrigley. It's a Wrigley game in Chicago. So there you go. There's a look around the Big Ten. The big one, obviously, tomorrow, Iowa and USC. That is a 12:30 kick, I think. 12:30 on the Big Ten Network. That should be it. Why is that on the Big Ten Network? That makes no sense. Whole different point. All right. I'm going to do a little on-air producing because we didn't discuss this before.
Right.
Do we have Dan? What are we doing for Dan Lanny here? Because he was not on primetime, Russ.
I've got some Dan Lanny.
Okay. Weekly press conference. He was not. Short week, obviously, is usually on every Thursday at 4 o'clock. He will be again next week for Isaac and Suk. Not this week on the short week, but hear from the head coach of the Oregon Ducks. Dan Lanning, that is coming up next. Our Philbrook Law Coach's Corner on 105.1 FM The Fan.
Duck fans, game day is here, and you
on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1, 1080, and the Odyssey app.
How much do you watch the college football playoff rankings, and how much do you talk about that stuff with the team?
None with the team, and I don't really watch it. The only time I ever spend talking about it is when I'm talking with guys like you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it matters. I mean, it doesn't matter yet, but it will matter in the end. And style points could come into play, right? I mean, is that something you think about?
Mm-hmm. Not yet. Like, here's what I know: win. If we win, the rest takes care of itself. Now, let's say we lost, then maybe we start wearing like confetti and doing some style point stuff and start running like double trick reverses and that. But like right now, the goal is win, right? I'm not super concerned with style points. If we win, the rest takes care of itself. But if you have the ability to not leave it up to human error, right, as long as you win.
Yeah, it's like one of those things too, like you can't control it. You guys have a huge win at Penn State and then, get a quarterback hurt and Penn State's season kind of, goes awry, and now all of a sudden no one gives you any credit for winning that game.
Yeah, it is what it is. I'm not worried about what anybody else thinks. Again, if we go take care of business, the rest takes care of itself. So I know we're in a good conference. We're going to be playing 3 ranked teams before the season's done. So, like I said, go take care of business. The rest will handle itself.
And that's what I would assume, right? Because Minnesota's no slouch either. This is by far the toughest stretch of the season, is it not?
Oh, yeah. I think we got a great group of teams playing, and this is where you want to be playing your best football, too. So, playing Minnesota off a short week after they had a bye week before us. So there's plenty of adversity and plenty of tough situations for us to face.
All right, Dan Lanning each Thursday at 4 here on The Fan, brought to you by Philbrook Law. In football, you need a great coach. In life, after an accident, you need a great lawyer. That's why you need Philbrook Law, accident and injury attorneys, philbrook-law.com, your local law team.
Drive time from the city center down to Autzen Stadium creeping up on this Friday afternoon. We're now about 2.5 hours. Got some slowing from Durham through Wilsonville. And again, on the south side of Salem, we do have a report of Smokies south of Coburg. It's 59 and cloudy here in Portland. Looks like some rain showers will start around 6 o'clock and continue mostly into the morning. Overnight temps will dip down to about 50 degrees. In Eugene, it's 63, partly cloudy. Should be 56 and partly cloudy for the 6 o'clock kick. Virtually no chance of rain and almost no wind. I'm Jeff Rust with Ducks Game Day traffic and weather every 10 minutes.
Your home for the Oregon Ducks in Portland. KRSK Portland. KRSK FM HD1, Malala, Oregon. And Odyssey Sports Station. Time for the second half. Live from Autzen Stadium, Coors Light presents Ducks Game Day. Coors Light, choose chill, celebrate responsibly.
Today, we talk with our pads.
Dante looks over the defense, likes it, wants the ball, got it. Gonna hand it off. It's gonna be Davison or Hill runner going left, gets free, 5-yard line. Can he get there inside of the 1? Goal line touchdown! Deer Hill.
We're getting you ready for today's game between the Oregon Ducks and the Minnesota Golden Gophers. Oregon Ducks football on a fan is brought to you by Coors Light, Vic Hanna Dealerships, Philbrook Law, Zoom Care, Bellagio's Pizza, Langdon Farms Golf Club, Wilsonville Toyota, Mountaintop Metal Roofing, Victor Rico's Mexican Food, Legends Casino Hotel, Mott's PDX, and Laurelhurst Market Steakhouse and Butcher Shop.
Touchdown, Oregon.
Now here's your hosts, Andy Johnson, Dusty Hara, and Oregon Hall of Famer Anthony Newman on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1, 1080, and the Odyssey app.
All right, welcome back down at Autzen Stadium, live on the Fan Sports Network, brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. 1 hour down, 1 hour to go for us. Kickoff between Oregon and Minnesota coming up at 6 o'clock right here on the Fan Sports Network. And Andy Johnson, Dusty Hara down in Eugene. Anthony Newman back up in Portland, getting ready for the quarterfinals tonight of the state playoffs. We got a lot still to get to. We'll take a look at the injury report. What do we know? We'll let you know that coming up here in a couple of moments. Gentlemen, let's take a brief second to talk about the most important player on the field. We haven't really talked about it yet today.
Atticus Sappington.
No way.
No way.
3 for 3. No, Dante Moore, man.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I'm just kidding. You know I wouldn't do that to you, Anthony. You know how I feel about kickers. Unless they make their kicks, and I love kickers. Then they're great. But if they miss kicks, get them off the football field. But Atticus was great last week, man. That was awesome.
I felt happy
He was nails,
for him.
dude. He's had a rough year, and that was great.
Yep.
What a moment for him, and they called on him, and he answered the bell, man. That was really cool to see. Another guy who they called on and answered the bell was a quarterback who didn't do a ton. The first, 97% of the game, right? Just didn't need to.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, here we go, minute 51 to go. You got all 3 of your timeouts. We need a field goal. And I'm just curious, Anthony, you've been around the game a long time. He seemed to have that calm, cooling moxie presence to him, and I was fascinated to hear after the game, or maybe they mentioned this on Monday, he had never in his entire football career been in a situation with 2 minutes to go, trailing, needing a drive to take the lead. In his entire career at high school, and UCLA, he's at Oregon so far, he's never been in that spot. They were tied against Penn State late, and they had the ball, but he's never been trailing with 2 minutes to go. Just your thoughts on what he did and maybe how he can build on that and the confidence he got out of that drive.
Well, if you watch his demeanor and just been watching it all year, he's a very cool guy. I mean, he stays even keel all the time. He's not too high, he's not too low. He celebrates, but he doesn't go crazy. You know, when he makes a mistake, he kind of just jogs off the field and then goes straight to the quarterback coach or whoever and talks about, hey, what do I need to do to get better? So to see him in that moment and thinking about that, like he's never done that. Like, wait, what? What are you talking about? Like, it seems like he's done it a whole bunch of times. And I've always said this about Dante Moore. He seems very experienced, and realistically, this is his first year starting, throughout the whole season.
Right.
And I talked to some NFL scouts. They like him a lot. I think he needs to stay in, for another year to gain more experience. But he's the dude. Come on. I mean, he's the guy that touches the ball every offensive snap. He has control. He's setting up the offense. He knows where to throw the football. He knows when to pull the ball with the RPOs and things like that. Running the football, he knows where to run, right or left, what's going on, what the defense is doing. He's the man. He really is, and he makes that offense work, along with, I keep saying this, and I give big guys love, the offensive line, because they take care of them.
That 2-minute drill at the end of the game is something that we've kind of talked about over the course of this season, and that, Anthony, you know this as a coach. In practice, you try to manufacture that kind of pressure, and you can't do it.
No,
you can't
do it.
Yeah.
Nope.
You can't manufacture that type of speed. But everything that this Oregon team has done leading up to that moment, they've tried everything they can. And go back to the Montana State game, the Oklahoma State game, the Oregon State game. The game was already in hand at half. But everybody was going, why is Dan Lanning calling timeouts at the end of the first half?
Yeah.
In each one of those games.
Northwestern, too. I think they had a 2-minute drill at the end of the first half. Yeah.
They went down the line in every single game they had an opportunity to. They tried to put the screws to their offense and say, all right, guys, this is it. go and produce.
Yeah.
So although that was the highest leverage moment that they had been in, this staff, this team had operated multiple times throughout the course of this year, manufacturing those opportunities for the offense. And when you have that kind of chaos and a big lead, it's a lot easier to do it. But it calms you just a little bit more with each one of those. And to go back and say, 4 games previously with zero pressure that we have to score, that led them to the moment where it was like, we've done this before.
Yeah.
We can go out and we can do it. And that's a credit to the coaching staff, and it's a credit to those guys to get points out of those opportunities the first 4 times they did it in low leverage scenarios.
That's a good point about putting your players in a spot to succeed, because you just can't do that. I mean, you could go out and say, all right, opening drill of practice is 2 minutes. You got to go 90 yards, but as you all know, it's not the same.
It's never the same.
There's not 90,000 people yelling at you, and it's raining, and the season's on the line, and the playoffs are on the line, and 7 million people are watching. It's just, you can't duplicate it. And, I'll give him credit, too, because he did have a fourth quarter drive trailing early this year. It wasn't in the last 2 minutes, so a bit of a caveat on that stat. But the Indiana game, they were down 27-20. They gave up that touchdown drive. Oregon got the ball back, 4 minutes or something and change to go. And what second play of the drive, you get a ball deflected at the line of scrimmage, it gets picked off, they go on to lose the game. And so he's had a moment. I think what you want to see from these young teams is that you're learning from moments like that. If they had the ball there, it didn't go the way they wanted, kind of a deflating feeling of, the drive was over so quickly, and now they get their next chance. He takes advantage of it. And it's huge, man, to have that under your belt now in a clutch moment, in a key moment of if they are down, whether it's tonight or against USC or against Washington, or if they are able to go to the college football playoff. I've done this. I've been there. I know how to handle the emotions of this situation. Really impressive, man. Where does that throw to Malik Benson rank for you guys? Can you think of any throw in the history of Oregon football? Better?
I haven't
that
seen
insane,
that one.
Man.
How do you defend that?
You can't. The defense was
can't.
perfect on the play.
You can't defend that. I'm like, if I'm a defensive back coach, I'm trying to coach my guy up. I'm like, hey, I don't know. What do you do? I don't know.
Throw your hands up.
Good job.
Not there.
I was down the line from that throw, and I sat there and I said, I don't know how. He got that in there. Because if the DB just puts his hand up, it hits him right in the bicep.
Yeah.
Because it went through like a little window, went right over his arm and right into Malik Benson's hands. And that's it. It's inches, man. They call it the game of inches.
Football, man. Yeah.
But that was it right there. Usually it's like to a first down or to the goal line. That was the game of inches where that DB's arm moves just a little bit, and that ball gets batted down.
Dusty, was it raining and windy at that time?
It was. I would say it was a slight drizzle at that time.
Calm down a little bit as the game went on.
The second half, it really was not coming down like it was. There were moments where I was like, it's not even raining. And if you look up at the lights and you could see moisture in the air, but I will say that there was it's like a City Works building that's right behind the stadium, and it blows steam like all day long. And so as that steam would come into the stadium and make it look like it was much worse than it was.
Gotcha.
The second half wasn't that bad. It was raining pretty hard in the first half, though.
Yeah, it was coming down. I mean, just to make that throw in that moment, huge drive from Dante Moore. Let's see if the passing game can go going here a little bit tonight. Talking about the passing game, who's going to be in, who's going to be out. I know everybody's curious on that. We do have one report about wide receiver injuries. We'll let you know what we know. We'll get to that coming up next as a Zoom Care injury report is right around the corner. We're live down at Autzen. Injury report next on 105.1 FM The Fan.
If you've had your
Drive time from here in Slabtown down to Autzen Stadium, creeping up to about 2.5 hours now. We got some slowing from Durham through Wilsonville, again on the south side of Salem past exit 244. However, no Smokies to report at the moment. It is 59 and cloudy here in Portland. Looks like some rain showers will start around 6 o'clock, continue mostly into the morning. Overnight temps will dip down to about 50 degrees. In Eugene, it is 63 and cloudy. Should be 57, partly cloudy for the 6 o'clock kick. Virtually no chance of rain and almost no wind. I'm Jeff Rust with Texas Game Day traffic and weather every 10 minutes.
Who's in, who's out? This is the Injury Report, brought to you by Zoom Care, with clinics near you. Zoom Care offers same-day appointments when you need them, even on evenings and weekends. Insurance accepted, including Medicare. ZoomCare.com.
Yeah, I'm not going to talk about injuries.
Coors Light presents Ducks Game Day on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1, 1080, and the Odyssey app.
All right, welcome back in live down at Autzen Stadium. If you hear any sirens going on, there's something happening down here. We got a bunch of cop cars driving by, so not quite sure what's going on. But in case there's any audio disturbance, that's what is happening if you hear it in the background. One injury note on Minnesota as we get to our injury report. Their star running back, Darius Taylor, is expected to be available tonight. He has not played. Okay. They've only had one game since the Iowa game, so only missed one game. But that was the last time he was in a game, and he got hurt in that matchup. And so he should be back for the Gophers tonight. Matt Zenitz, what's he, 24/7 Sports, I think? Yes, has reported that DeCorian Moore and Gary Bryant are expected to miss the game tonight. And not a surprise there, right? No surprise there. No. As DeCorian went down midweek with the injury last week, it was nice to hear, at least from Lanning, he said it was a tweak and they're hoping he's going to be okay. And then obviously we all saw Gary go down in the game. So that is all we know for now. I will remind people that at least last week, Kenyon Sadiq was in full uniform going through warm-ups, hoping to play, as was Alex Harkey. And so they were both on the field trying to give it a go and were held back at the last moment. I think even Brad Nessler mentioned that they had to hold Kenyon Sadiq against his will from playing in the game. And he was like, let me in. And they were like, no, we're not going to let you in. So one of those. But maybe they'll be back here tonight.
I will say this, and Dan Lanning talked about this, that DeCorian Moore did travel with the team to Iowa last week.
He was walking out of the tunnel. First guy out of the tunnel with the team,
first guy out of the tunnel.
Yeah.
Wasn't on crutches, wasn't in a knee brace. There was a lot of fear-mongering about his injury early in the week. I think that everything is just kind of precautionary to kind of hold him back and make sure when he's back, he's right. But to Harkey and Sadiq, those guys were going through pregame. Harkey was suited and booted the entire game. He was ready to go in case of an emergency. So I would expect both of them, Sadiq and Harkey, back this week based on the fact that they went through a full warm-up before the game, right? That's not like anything more than that, but when Nessler's saying you had to hold him back to make sure he didn't get on the field, I think he's pretty close to playing. And Harkey the same way, being in a uniform. I mean, the one guy we don't know about is Devin Jackson, who missed last week as well. No updates to that.
But they have gotten healthier elsewhere at linebacker. I mean, Platt played the first couple of snaps of the year, and we've seen Williams be in the lineup lately. So some of those young guys are kind of getting some run now.
Talk about next man up. Jerry Mixon had himself
he's a dude.
Man,
he had a day. I do have one more injury to report. And this one comes to us via Rob Mosley, who just tweeted out, Don Essig is dealing with laryngitis and won't be on the mic tonight at Autzen Stadium.
Man.
So that's
that always sucks. That's tough. He's so known for his voice in Autzen Stadium and Matt Court and Matthew Knight Arena over the years. And so Curtis Long will be filling in for him and doing the PA for the Ducks tonight. So thinking of Don, he is a legend. And games at Autzen, not quite the same without him.
Hopefully he's back next week for USC.
Only one more game. One more game to go at home, but that's all we know on the injury front for now, and it is brought to you by, the injury report is brought to you by Zoom Care, more than 20 neighborhood clinics in Oregon and Southwest Washington. Zoom Care offers convenient access to same-day urgent and emergency care, plus an expanded primary care team. Currently accepting new patients. Schedule or learn more at ZoomCare.com. I pain to inform everybody that the lock of the week lost again last week. Now.
No way.
Now. In my defense, did
sound like a
anybody?
broken record.
Now,
No way.
Anthony, hold on. You know what game? Dustin didn't even know what game I picked. Okay.
I don't need to.
Did you follow the Auburn Vanderbilt game at all last weekend?
A little, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Auburn led the whole
But
game.
there's no
They led the
excuses.
whole
It doesn't
game.
matter.
Then they blew it and then lost by 7 in overtime, and the line was 6.5. Man, it was right there. I was ready to send you guys a text saying we're back, baby.
The funniest thing I heard from national pundits were, Oregon going on the road and struggling the way they did against number 20 Iowa. That says they may not even be a playoff team. And then they're like, but you see Vandy's guts when they went on. They played Auburn. It's like, dude, Auburn fired their coach.
They did.
Like, they are not good.
Their offense is terrible.
What
man.
are we doing?
Look, I'm on I don't even know what it is, how many I've lost in a row. But you know what you do? You get back on the horse every week, all right? Next play mentality. We'll see if we can find the lock of the week. That is coming up next.
No.
We're live down at Hudson Stadium on 105.1 FM, The Fan.
Run the other way.
No, bro. Jump
Hey
off the
guys,
train.
some of you have been putting it off.
Drive time down to Autzen Stadium, holding pretty steady at about 2.5 hours. We've got some slowing basically from 217 through Wilsonville and again on the south side of Salem past exit 244. And we do now have reports of a smoky at Millersburg. It's 59 and cloudy here in Portland. Looks like some rain showers will start around 6 o'clock and continue mostly into the morning. Overnight temps dipping down to about 50 in Eugene. 63 and cloudy, should be 57, partly cloudy for the 6 o'clock kick. Virtually no chance of rain and almost no wind. I'm Jeff Rust with Ducks Game Day traffic and weather every 10 minutes.
It's time for winners. The lock of the week.
And here's the handoff. Whittington 10-5. Touchdown. No Whittington.
Where our hosts share their picks of the week. Brought to you by Legends Casino Hotel in Toppenish, Washington. Within winning distance. Coors Light presents Ducks Game Day on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1, 1080, and the Odyssey app.
Well, this will be the last segment for Anthony, and so fitting that he's going to hear the lock of the week hit. He wanted to stick around for this segment just to hear a winning pick.
And for the people, I will have a lock after you go.
We got to double lock this segment, okay?
Double lock.
Double lock. Here we go. Zero confidence. I think we need to call the voice guy up and tell him this. It should say it's time for losers. Here's your not lock of the week. Maybe that's
just
what.
Don't
the segment
lose your lunch money. Come on.
Yeah, just don't lose your lunch money. I'm going to go to Tuscaloosa tomorrow night.
Okay. Big one.
I don't think that Oklahoma is ready for this kind of challenge with how inept their offense is. Alabama's offense has not been great, but their defense is playing at a very high level. And I know Oklahoma's got a good defense here, but this is also a revenge spot for Alabama. Remember, they were in the playoff chase late in the year last year, went on the road to Norman, and just got boat raced by Oklahoma. Everybody's like, what? Oklahoma was terrible last year. It was one of the more shocking results of the season. They knocked Alabama out of the college football playoff race. The spread is less than a touchdown. I think Alabama could win this game going away by 14 or 17 points. I am taking Alabama minus 6.5 as my lock of the week.
All right, I have a lock of the week this week, and it's for the sake of this segment and giving you a winner. I'm going Oklahoma in Tuscaloosa.
What?
I'm going Oklahoma.
I mean, if you jumped on the fade train at the right time, you'd be rich right now.
Yeah,
No, Andy, I'm with you, Andy.
You with me?
I'm with you.
Let's
I'm
go,
jumping on
baby.
that. I'm
He's
jumping
back.
on your train. I'm
I
back.
got my D coordinator back,
I
baby.
jump back on. I'm good. Let's go.
Here we go.
I feel even more confident in my pick now.
Yeah.
Oh,
Go
there is your
Bama.
lock
Go
of the week.
Bama. Let's go.
Roll Tide, baby. Also, I should note, too, just from Oregon's standpoint, those are big games for Oregon in the playoff chase.
Yeah.
So Texas goes on the road to Georgia, and Oklahoma goes on the road to Alabama. They're both behind Oregon right now in the rankings. If Oklahoma and Texas win tomorrow, it's a doomsday scenario. We potentially could have 7 two-loss SEC teams, and I don't know what the playoff committee is going to do with all of that. And Oregon, you went out, you don't got to worry about anything because you're already number 8. But just the chaos that could ensue if Oklahoma and Texas win, because then Bama and Georgia are they're not dropping out of the playoff chase. Bama and Georgia aren't going anywhere. And then Oklahoma and Texas would have quality road wins. So if you're a Duck fan, it feels weird, but root for Georgia and Alabama tomorrow just to eliminate those two teams and get them out of the conversation. Lock of the Week brought to you by Legends Casino Hotel in Toppenish. Legends Casino Hotel within winning distance online, legendscasino.com. Anthony, good luck tonight, buddy. Go get a dub.
Thank you. Thank you. This will be fun. It's going to be fun. We're going to run the ball, and we're going to stop the run.
Yeah.
Real easy.
Run the ball, stop the run, baby.
Was that the key to which game? The one the one you're in or the one here? Because that could be both.
That
Let's
is
go.
both. That is
All
both.
right.
And the one that I control more on the defensive side, just letting you know we're blitzing. We're coming after the quarterback.
I love it. I love it, baby. Good luck to West Lynn tonight.
We got one corner who's going to cover by himself. We got 10 in the box, and we're coming after the quarterback.
Hey, good luck to the Lions.
Thank you. Appreciate it, guys.
And appreciate you coming in and hanging out with us for as long as you can, man.
Yeah, for a game day. It's always
blast. This is fun.
So enjoy the game tonight, buddy. And we'll see you down here next weekend for Oregon and USC. Good luck to the Lions tonight. And let's keep talking about this game. We're still down here at Autzen. Anthony's going to head out to his quarterfinal game. We're back after this live down at Autzen on 105.1 FM The Fan.
Isaac Ropp Langdon.
Coors Light presents Ducks Game Day. Coors Light, choose chill. Celebrate responsibly on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1, 1080, and the Odyssey app.
All right, welcome back in down at Autzen Stadium. Andrew Johnson, Dusty Hare hanging out with you for another 30 minutes or so. You're going to hear from Joey Harrington in a couple of moments. Mike Jorgensen's going to pop on over, and we'll chat with the color analyst of the Ducks as we start to wrap up our show, and we'll send you off into the booth. And kickoff is coming up at 6 o'clock. It is unique with the night game tonight, so a 6 o'clock kick here between Oregon and Minnesota. To mine, they have not played a night game yet this year, right? At home, at least.
Oregon?
Yeah.
No.
This is the first. When was the last time we can remember a home game, night game being the first night game being this late in the year? I feel like they're always good for at least one or two in the Pac-12 days, 7:30 kicks.
Yeah, I mean,
it's kind of unique that way.
It is, especially. I mean, I guess the latest one would have been that 3:30 Wisconsin kick.
Yeah,
where it got dark at the end of the game.
That's true. That's true. That was a later one. Yeah, but not nighttime.
That's not night. That's not a night game. It's not like this. It's not the people in the parking lots, and the parking lots opening up at noon.
You got an all-day to party.
Look, I am cautiously optimistic. It's vibrant out here.
It's pretty solid. You never know what you're going to get on a Friday night, especially with work and kids in high school football and all that stuff. It's looking like a good crowd here tonight.
I appreciate the commitment by parents to take their kids out of school, get down here early, and have a good time before the game even starts.
You got to do it right.
For it.
I'm one of the weird ones. I know fans have debated this for a long time in college football. Do you like Friday night home games? Should be or Friday night games in general? Should it be a high school thing, standalone? I like one Friday night home game a year. Just a different vibe. And for the late night crowd, like the tough part with a Saturday 7:30 kick is it kind of you get home late, kind of eats up your Sunday morning. That's the beauty of a Friday night game. So if it eats up a little bit of your set, you still got a full weekend out of it. So it doesn't kind of derail everything.
Yeah, I'm okay with it. I do live in the world of Friday night is for high school football.
Yeah.
And right now, I think it's better at this time because now, like when it's early in the year and every high school's still playing.
Sure.
You're missing so many fans because you have not just the teenagers that can't come, but their parents aren't coming.
They're not coming, or your family members of those kids or whatever, yeah.
And now you're in the quarterfinals of the playoffs. So many teams have been eliminated. It's an opportunity to still have all of those families and all those kids coming to the game. So I'm down for it.
It's going to be a fun one tonight. The crowd's setting up pretty nice. Oregon and Minnesota at 6 o'clock right here on The Fan. Still more to come for us. As I mentioned, Mike Jorgensen right around the corner. We'll get Dusty's final thoughts before he's got to send up into the booth, get ready for the rest of the pregame show. But coming up next, you're going to hear from Joey Harrington, who joins Isaac Matsuk every single Friday. That's next, live down here at Autzen Stadium on 105.1 FM The Fan.
Looking for an
Drive time from the city center down to Autzen Stadium, holding pretty steady at about 2.5 hours. We do have some slowing, basically from 217, through Wilsonville, again on the south side of Salem, past exit 244. And apparently, police activity has the Centennial Bridge into Eugene closed. We do have reports of a smoky at Millersburg. It's 59 and cloudy here in Portland. Looks like some rain showers will start around 6 o'clock, continue mostly into the morning. Overnight temps dipping down to about 50. In Eugene, it is 62 and cloudy. Should be 57, partly cloudy for the 6 o'clock kick. Virtually no chance of rain and almost no wind. I'm Jeff Rust with Ducks Game Day traffic and weather every 10 minutes.
Let's preview the game with a Ducks legend.
Wait for it. Daring.
Captain Comeback, Joey Harrington, from his weekly visit every Friday on Primetime.
I would call myself somebody who's been around for a long time and wants to tell some nice stories.
Brought to you by Mods PDX. The future of building is here.
Touchdown, Oregon.
Coors Light presents Ducks Game Day on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1, 1080, and the Odyssey app.
Joey, take your wife and kids out of it because that's lame and boring and easy.
Okay.
You know, you can't be like, oh, my kid was born. Yeah, everyone says that. You have
Great.
to.
Marriage, birth of kids. Take it out.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
When was Joey never better?
January 1st, 2002 at 10:17 p.m.
Guessing Fiesta Bowl.
Right.
There you go.
But see, this was post Fiesta Bowl.
Yeah.
And we had, so my cousin, Andy, you know, our whole family was staying, it was like it wasn't a Motel 6, but it was like a Holiday Inn or something. And as he was walking out the door in the morning to the game, he walks by this, not a banquet hall, but hotels have like an event space, where you slide the doors. He's like, hey, what's that over there? Oh, we rent it out. Is it rented out tonight? No. Well, how much does it cost? $250. Great. We'll take it. So he reserved that little banquet space, event space, which was essentially just like a carpeted, open area, and assuming that we were going to come back and have a victory party. Well, sure enough, we did. And I was, you have those moments where I was sitting next to my dad and my grandfather and just kind of taking in what had just happened. This was pre-Chip Kelly. This was pre- everybody, Oregon football had just changed, and I'm sitting next to my dad and my grandpa and surrounded by family in a banquet room of a Holiday Inn and saying, you know what? I don't know that it gets much better than this.
Oh,
that's a good one.
There was a moment.
Yeah.
And then about 45 minutes later, my college roommates jumped off the second story balcony into the swimming pool, and then things got significantly worse. So it was that 10:17.
Yeah.
That's why I said once we hit 11 o'clock, then things went way south.
Wow. Good story.
I like that. That's well played.
Yeah. We must run. Hope you have a great weekend.
Joey Harrington's weekly visits with Isaac and Suk on Primetime are brought to you by Mods PDX. The future of building is here.
This holiday season.
presents Ducks Game Day. Coors Light. Choose chill. Celebrate responsibly on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1, 1080, and the Odyssey app.
All right, welcome back in. Live down at Autzen Stadium. Mike Jorgensen here. No umbrella this week
No
for
umbrella.
Jorgie. Umbrella not needed. Still dry down here at Autzen Stadium. He is coming up right after this. We'll talk to the color analyst of the Oregon Ducks. I know you got to head up soon. What are you looking forward to tonight, man? I know it's a big spread. It's one of those where you kind of go in thinking, all right, let's just get an easy win and stay healthy. But knowing the importance of the next 2 weeks on your schedule of what they should look like tonight to try and set up that run here at the end of the year.
I'm really interested to see, and this is one thing that Dan Lanning has been exceptional at over his time being the head coach at Oregon. It is getting his guys ready for the next opponent.
Yeah.
Right. Last year, remember, it was a short week after an emotionally charged win over Ohio State at home, and then that Friday game at Purdue. And it was, hey, this could be a trap spot, you know? And they went out and they got their first road shutout in 40 years.
38-0 or whatever it was.
Yeah, 35-0. And I remember that vividly, though, because that was the most upset at halftime that Dan Lanning had been all year long during my halftime interview as he's going off the field, because he didn't think they executed well in that first half. They were up 21-0. But Purdue was very, very bad. And he wanted them to be sharper. He wanted them to execute at a higher level. The standard doesn't change. This was an emotionally charged game against Iowa where it came down to the wire. It was physical. Guys had to play shorthanded, playing more snaps than they're used to. That's what I'm interested in coming out of the gate in this one. How do they respond to that? Because the short week changes everything. Creatures of habit. It's completely different. Monday is now Tuesday. Tuesday is now Wednesday. Wednesday is now Thursday. Everything changes for them. I want to see how they come out of the gate and what that looks like for the Ducks. That, look, they're still banged up. They still got some injuries. And last year, we think about how well that season went, there weren't a lot of injuries at all last year.
No.
And we didn't talk about this in the injury report, but you also had Tatum Tuioti went out with that shoulder again in Iowa. Now, he only missed a series. He said he was fine after the game, and I expect him to be fine tonight. But these nicks, the bumps, the bruises, Minnesota's going to want to play physical football.
Yeah. Next man up mentality. We'll see if it can continue tonight. Get off to a fast start. Are you heading up? Is this it for you? Are you hanging around a little bit longer?
I can
You're
hang out with Jorgie. We don't have Anthony. I'm going to hang out with Jorgie.
We got Jorgie, baby.
Yeah.
Mike Jorgensen, color analyst of the Oregon Ducks. He is coming up next.
Shout out to Sue, who
Sue just
came by.
She
Yeah,
was great,
P1
man.
Sue,
Look at that.
she is awesome.
Knew all the deets at 105.1 The Fan, man.
She did.
And a diehard Duck fan.
She's really interested in who put their finger in that muffin at the Fan Studios.
We're all trying to figure this out.
So I know she's a dedicated P1.
We're all trying to figure out whose finger went in that muffin. One of these days, we will get that surveillance tape,
I don't think we will.
Jorgie's coming up next, but now it's time for Ducks Game Day traffic and weather every 10 minutes. Here's Jeff Rust.
Drive time from Slabtown here down to Autzen, holding pretty steady at about 2.5 hours. Got some slowing basically from 217 through Wilsonville. More slowing as you approach Kaiser, and again on the south side of Salem past exit 244. Additionally, police activity apparently has the Centennial Bridge into Eugene closed. We do have reports of a smoky at Millersburg. 59 and cloudy here in Portland. Looks like some rain showers will start around 6, continue mostly into the morning. Overnight temps dipping down to about 50. In Eugene at 62 and cloudy. Should be 56 and partly cloudy for the 6 o'clock kick. Virtually no chance of rain and almost no wind. I'm Jeff Rust with Ducks Game Day traffic and weather every 10 minutes.
Is your financial advisor offering
today's matchup, Ask Jorgie, brought to you by Bellagio's Pizza, the very best.
We think that there's some alphas on our team, but nobody else right now does, and so that's the type of thing that you're going to have to prove.
With Ducks color analyst and former quarterback Mike Jorgensen, Coors Light presents Ducks Game Day on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 1080, and the Odyssey app.
All right, welcome back in live down at Autzen Stadium. Time to talk to the color analyst of the Oregon Ducks, Mike Jorgensen, brought to you as always by our good friends at Bellagio's Pizza. Jorgie, how excited are we for a game sans rain tonight? Huh? We got dry game, baby.
Yeah. How about this? Nice day. I mean, a little bit earlier, it was like, geez.
The sun's out. Let's go play 18, man.
65 degrees. It's golf weather.
Beautiful day.
People getting color out here in the parking lot.
A little suntan pregame, man. Let's put a bow on last week. What a game. What a moment. Sappington hits the kicks, the last drive, and Dante never been in that spot his entire career. Just walk me through what's going through your mind as they pick up a huge win on the road.
Well, just fight your way through it. I mean, isn't it amazing how Iowa just sucks you into their vortex of football, the way they play football? I don't care who comes to town. They just pull you into it, and sometimes they don't let you back up for air.
And you know what they're going to do. You know they're trying to do it to you, and you still let it happen.
And it still happens that way. But, it's one of those ones where you just find a way to win. Special teams was a huge part of it. I mean, I'm glad Joey was talking about that yesterday when we were doing our pick show, is just recapping again how well special teams played, how many points they accounted for, number one, and then keeping the ball out of Weegan's hands pretty much all game long, all the way down to the final kickoff, rolling along the ground, not getting in his hands where he could hurt you. So it just was one of those ones where those are the little things in a game that made the difference in a game that was going to play out that way, and they fought their way through it and just win. Regardless of the injuries and everything else, just figure out a way to win and continue to keep that running game mentality. I mean, when you can go there and just kick people's asses at the line of scrimmage, I mean, that's what they did.
Yeah.
And to get after them and get after them and get after them 2 weeks in a row where they've really had to rely on that running game, I think it's going to bode well for them again here tonight against Minnesota.
I mean, we talked about this at the beginning of the game, is bring the fight to them, which is what we wanted to see the Ducks do. They did it. And it still was, Iowa was ready to punch right back. I think that says a lot about this team, that ability to play different styles, because we were talking about this earlier. Stanford used to be the one who was just like, oh boy, here we go.
Yeah. It feels like they got 38 offensive linemen on the field at one time, and you can't stop it.
But it just kind of feels like this team is able to adapt to whoever they're playing against now.
Yeah, and they've had to. I mean, they've had some different style games that they played in this year. I mean, some of the preseason non-conference games, obviously, it's put points on the board, and that's what they did. But when they got into these type of games in the Big Ten Conference, I mean, you're going to see it. It was old-style Big Ten football. That's what they played last week. And it was somewhat that way with Indiana. A little bit more dynamic players on the field for that particular game. But you got to win the shootouts. You got to have the capability to. You got to have the capability to play in a game like that where it's a rock'em sock'em robots type of game, and you got to be able to hang in there. It's exactly what they did. So that's the type of game I'm hoping we'll see tonight, and we'll see next week with USC when they come to town. That's the type of game that I'm hoping that you fight your way through. It really just sets you off and basically cash you off for the rest of the season.
Kind of a launching point for the rest of the year. And it's so, you look at the other West Coast teams in the Big Ten, and we'll see how USC does tomorrow against Iowa, but they have really struggled going on the road, playing these kind of ugly, physical kind of games. You didn't used to have a lot of those in the Pac-12. Everybody's kind of happy. Weather's a little bit better. Moving the ball around, not as good. Like, you got to be able to win games this way in this new conference, and Oregon is doing a great job. Talk to me about Dante and what he did on that last drive. And a quarterback, minute 51, never been in that position before in his career to come out and orchestrate the offense the way he did. Just remarkable performance by him.
Yeah, just cool.
Yeah.
Cool, calm, collective the whole way through it. And again, to put the ball into, as they described it, a portal, because that's basically what he did when he hit Benson on that pass. I mean, to immediately put him in field goal range and then to be able to manage the rest of it, that obviously was a huge play in the game. But the biggest play of the game was in that drive and that one right there to be able to get him in that position. Again, he has played so well. He's played the role. He's managed the role. One bad throw, I think, all game long was the interception there in the first quarter when I think he tried to squeeze it in a little bit too tight. You can't get greedy in a tight game like that. 3 points is, as we found out, 2 points is the difference in a game, but 3 points sometimes is. And so maybe that's the one thing you can nitpick on. Otherwise, I mean, he ran the ball well. He scrambled around. He was in command. He got time to throw the ball, so he was not rushed by the defense for Iowa, the defensive line. So the offensive line did a great job with who they were playing with. Again, to go back to your question, Dante Moore, I thought he just played a tremendous game.
So did Janoris Wilson. Coming in for Harkey the way he played, that was impressive to see against a great defensive line. Tonight, Minnesota coming in. They've been sitting. They had a bye week, and Oregon has a road game, physical, emotionally charged at the end,
Back
and then
late
a
Saturday
short
night.
week. Does that concern you at all?
Not the way this team has responded, given all the situations that they've had, whether it's trips across the country, back to back, not back to back, but basically with a 2-week gap, going to Rutgers and going to Penn State. Dan Lanning doesn't make a big deal of it. You don't hear it talked about all week long. So if he doesn't make a big deal out of it, they're not going to make a big deal out of it. Young, resilient players.
No.
I think that's the key with one of these ones, and they just protect Dante Moore tonight. Minnesota gets after the quarterback. They really get after the quarterback at home.
Yeah.
Not so much on the road, and so you got to hope that continues here tonight. But the way to protect your quarterback, run the ball. God, run the ball.
263 or whatever it was last. I mean, that was insane on the road at Iowa. Yeah.
Just freaking run the ball here again tonight, and they've done it the last 2 weeks with Wisconsin and Iowa. That's the best way to get people off your quarterbacks back. And I'd like to see him start right off the bat tonight.
Well, and then also, too, I mean, I was talking about this last week on the pregame show, and I tried to, send this message to Duck fans where you don't have to live in this fear of if you get some guys banged up, you used to feel like it was the end of your year. Historically, Oregon hasn't had that level of depth built up where one or two guys go down, you feel like, here we go again, And we have all those, visions in our head of seasons that have derailed. And then last week, it's Cooper Perry, a true freshman, making a catch in a 2-minute drill. You mentioned Wilson stepping in at right tackle. This seems like a team that, I don't know, look, if they're without those guys in the playoff, if they get there, I don't know how they survive. That next man up mentality showing itself, and it might have to tonight. We're not sure who's in, who's it out. But those guys really stepped up and played well, and that's nice to know that you can lean on some of those youth and those freshmen to play big in those moments.
And I know you can't cover every single guy, but Jamari Johnson.
Jamari Johnson was massive.
He just looks like a fit out there. He looks like he's the natural starter, frankly, the way that he's playing. And so anytime that you have somebody, you think about the level that Kenyon Sadiq plays at, and then you feel like, gosh, we just got to we're dropping right off the cliff when we go to the next guy. No, Oregon is not with Jamari Johnson. So all those guys, you maybe lose a little bit of the explosiveness by not having a Decorium Moore or having a fresh Kenyon Sadiq. But the guys that are filling in are doing exactly what they need to do. And again, when you've got a quarterback like Dante Moore, he knows what those guys are capable of. Don't try to put them in a Decorium Moore, Kenyon Sadiq position. They play what they play. Put the balls there that they can catch and just get first downs and move down the field. So
fresh legs in that running back room sure paid off too.
Oh, gosh.
Holy smokes.
To have that many guys that can perform at that level, and two of them true freshmen.
Two true freshmen.
That's ridiculous.
True freshmen, man.
Just ridiculous.
The depth is great. Can't wait. Have a great call tonight, Georgie. As always, good to see you.
Can't wait.
Enjoy the dry weather. We'll get 18 in maybe later.
Missed Anthony.
I know. He didn't give you a hard time today.
Let me ask you this. I was waiting for that.
You're getting an angry phone call. He's driving to Westland right now. I know he's listening.
Hey, Georgie, what do you think? They're going to kill him tonight. What do you think? I'm going to win in a blowout tonight? What do you think, baby? Georgie, as always, brought to you by Bellagio's Pizza. Score big with their game day special. A large cheese or one-topping pizza, small cheese sticks, and a 2-liter all for only $25. Go to Bellagio'sPizza.com to find out one of their 13 locations near you. Almost done. We'll wrap it up next on 105.1 FM The Fan.
Well, right down the
City Center down to Autzen, holding pretty steady at about 2.5 hours. Got some slowing, basically 217 through Wilsonville. More slowing as you approach Kaiser, and then again from basically through Salem past exit 244. Additionally, some police activity apparently has the Centennial Bridge into Eugene closed. No Smokies to speak of, though, at this time. It's 59 and cloudy here in Portland. Looks like some rain showers will start around 6 and continue mostly into the morning. Overnight temps dipping down to about 50. In Eugene at 62 and cloudy, should be 56 and partly cloudy for the 6 o'clock kick. Virtually no chance of rain and almost no wind. I'm Jeff Rust with next Game Day traffic and weather every 10 minutes.
The grill is sizzling. Some teams are cooked. It's time for What's at Stake.
You know what? I'm going to cook on your grill.
A look at the smoking hot games in college football. Brought to you by Laurelhurst Market Steakhouse and Butcher Shop. More than just your favorite neighborhood steakhouse.
I am going to have that third steak after all. Go ahead and put that order in now.
Coors Light presents Ducks Game Day on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1, 1080, and the Odyssey app.
All right, welcome back. Live down at Autzen Stadium. I feel like Will Smith in that Fresh Prince of Bel-Air gif, like standing in the living room. There's no furniture. All the furniture's gone. All the people are gone. Everybody. Anthony's gone. Dusty's gone. Just me and Russ, baby. Only a couple more minutes to go. Let's set up What's at Stake. Hey, before we do that, though, remember to listen to the Dick Hanna Dealership's post-game scoreboard show tonight. If you're down at the game and you're driving home, want to listen to the guys break it down, Fish and Jordan Schultz will be doing that coming up later this evening. And Anthony and Dusty will be calling in and recapping what happens here at Autzen Stadium tonight. What's at Stake is Oregon and a chance to keep their playoff hopes alive with a win over Minnesota. The spread 25.5 points. Only 3 games to go in the regular season, and we are heading for potentially a chaotic weekend in college football. So it's nice to hopefully have a game on Friday night where you get a win and you go into the weekend ready to go. Gopher fans are here. They're ready to go. A lot of Minnesota fans down here. But hopefully Oregon gets a big win tonight. That's what's at stake, staying alive in the college football playoff race. And what's at stake brought to you by Laurelhurst Market. More than just your friendly neighborhood steakhouse. Make your reservation today at laurelhurstmarket.com. Line to watch, our final score predictions. I got Anthony's. I'll give you mine, and we'll wrap it up down here at Autzen Stadium next on 105.1 FM The Fan.
If you're considering new construction,
Ducks Game Day.
They're going to throw. Wide open. Touchdown, Sadiq. Left-hand front corner of the end zone.
It's time for The Line to Watch, where your hosts predict the score of today's game and get you the latest on the betting lines.
All you got to do is bet on the winner and you'll never lose.
On the Fan Sports Network, 105.1, 1080, and the Odyssey app.
All right, last one for us down here at Autzen Stadium. We'll send you up into the booth coming up next as Joey Mack, Jerry Allen, Mike Jorgensen, and Dusty Harrell will take you for the next 2 hours. Kickoff coming up at 6 between Oregon and Minnesota. The line on the game tonight, final closing line as we approach kickoff here this evening at Autzen Stadium. It sits at 25.5 points. Anthony gave us his score prediction earlier before he left, and that was, what did he say, Russ? 48-10, I think.
48-10, that is correct.
48-10 is what Anthony's was. So that would cover the number if they are to get it. I'm going to go, let's go 38-14. How about that? 38-14. Oregon pulls their foot off the gas in the second half, and maybe a slight Minnesota cover. That's a big number. Oregon hasn't been great covering these big spreads at home. Wisconsin in town a couple weeks ago was a big spread. They didn't cover. So I think Minnesota maybe backdoors it with a late touchdown. Oregon playing on the short week. Minnesota sitting at home last week, so they're coming in fresh, getting some guys back. Oregon's still a little banged up going into the game, although although it does appear Kenyon Sadiq and Alex Harkey will be back in the lineup here tonight, but no De'Corian Moore and no Gary Bryant for the Ducks this evening. So I'll go 38-14. Last thought I have on the game, I think tonight is more about maybe what's left on the schedule, the rest of your schedule, than what it is tonight. I think you can win this game in a multitude of ways over Minnesota, but you got USC coming to town next week. You got Washington, obviously, on the road at the end of the season. And so, to me, it's about getting the offense going and feeling good going into those last two games. I think Oregon has found their identity offensively, and that's being a physical run-first team. Now we'll see if they can build some passing attack off of that, even without De'Corian Moore and Gary Bryant in the lineup this evening. Run the ball, play some defense, get out of here with a win, but feel good going into USC next weekend. That will do it for us, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We don't know a kick time for the USC game next weekend, but we should find out at some point on Sunday. And we'll be back down here at Autzen Stadium for the final home game of the regular season as USC is in town. Friday Night Lights down here at Autzen tonight. Enjoy the game, everybody. It's on Fox on your TV, or obviously you can catch it right here on the home of the Oregon Ducks, 105.1 FM The Fan. For Dusty Harrell, for Anthony Newman, for Jeff Russ, great to see you, buddy, and hear from you, buddy. We'll talk to everybody next Saturday on the pregame show. That'll do it for us. Pregame up in the studio is next on 105.1 FM The Fan.